as would typically be the case, that was not the way the video was supposed to happen for the intro. It is the day for Memorial Day. And people are probably wondering, who is this other person that kind of sort of looks like my sister Angie? But most certainly it is not. Her name is Meagan Reed. And she's our guest today on Data Security Over Coffee. And Angie is away today, taking care of a personal matter in her family. We wish her all the best with that. And she's doing fine, we believe. But we also, a couple weeks ago, were talking about the fact that we wanted to kind of diverge from the normal cybersecurity stuff. Not that it isn't important, because it is, but we really wanted to make sure that we took the opportunity to speak with Meagan and also Abby, who is a member of our team at Reclamere, about something that I know is very near and dear to Angie's heart. And so I am going to do my absolute best to talk the very least today, which is uncommon for me, as my little sister would tell you. But I'd like to give Meagan Reed an opportunity to introduce herself and really kind of get us kicked off on what is Women Leadership Legacy and the EmpowerHER Summit.
Thank you so much, Joe, and hello, Abby, and thank you all for having me on the show. I'm sad Angie can't be here, but I'm so excited for the opportunity to talk more about the EmpowerHER Summit. As Joe said, my name is Meagan Reed, and I am the Director of Marketing for the Summit. We have our second annual event coming up on Friday, July 10th at Seven Springs, and there is an option to make it a retreat weekend with optional events on Thursday and Saturday. And Angie was actually on our panel last year, selected by our executive director, Kirsten Reed. She brought together an incredible panel, and Angie really took hold of the importance of this event. And she was like, wow, I need to be part of this. So when we opened up applications for our committee, which is new this year, we welcomed 12 amazing women onto our committees, and Angie and Abby are a part of that. And they've been an integral part in helping us grow and expand in the way that we wanted to. So very grateful for Reclamere and Angie and all of you for letting us be here and being involved. So I just give you a quick overview of what the summit is, and then we can jump into things. I have the website pulled up so I don't miss a beat as the marketing director. We need to stay on brand, right? But the EmpowerHER Summit is a nonprofit premier women's professional conference and retreat style experience designed for corporations and organizations that invest in the growth and well-being of their employees. With high-level speakers, impactful programming, and restorative experiences, the summit creates a powerful environment where women and men can grow as leaders, build meaningful connections, and return to their organizations more empowered and aligned. So I think that's a beautiful synopsis of what we're really trying to create, this movement, this empowerment of employees, of individuals, of us together to create a better world, honestly. So that's a little bit about me and the summit.
So where did the idea of the summit come from?
That is truly a brainchild of our executive director, Kirsten Reed. She previously worked at FNB, First National Bank, and did a lot of business banking. So she was a great networker and connector. She loved, going out to networking events and saw so much potential, to grow herself and help others grow as well. She just is a huge proponent for professional women's organizations, networking, and growth. And so she was also a member of the Somerset Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So with those two interests in mind, she had gone to several other events. She might have a different version of this story, but this is mine. She went to an event outside of Pittsburgh, and as the way she told me, she was like, we need this in the Southern Alleghenies. There's all these amazing events that I go to in Pittsburgh to do networking and meet other incredible women. And while there are events like this, in Johnstown, Somerset area, the Southern Alleghenies was the main target, these 6 counties. We want something that is more attainable for them to attend. So that's where it really began last year. And I came on board in March of 2025. And Kirsten and Sasha Smith, the co-host of the event, they had already been planning it for a few months. So when I came on as the director of marketing, doing the full scale branding website, helping them with some of the logistics with my background in event planning. It was a beautiful combination. It was just like so meant to be. The 3 of us could just communicate and plan so well together. It's been a really fun journey to grow so close to them, be so close to them, and have this really fun project that we all get to work on together. So we've put it together, I want to say, March, April, May, June, July, about 4 months, with a little bit of planning prior to my joining. And we had 233 women there our first year. So it was awesome. And we just about broke even. So we're looking to do it again. Our goal this year is 450 women, and we are on track to do that with a little more than 5-6 weeks, I want to say, until the event. So we're doubling in size and continuing to grow and have a fun 3-year plan to continue to increase our reach.
That is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So, Abby, having gone to it for the very first time yourself last year with
Yep.
Angie, what were you expecting before you got there? And then what actually was the experience like once you immersed yourself in the event?
Yeah, so expectations, I don't say this in a rude way, but we're kind of low just because I've never been to an event like that. I've never been to an event that was so geared on empowering women, and that was the goal, and that was the main point of it. The first event I went to, and this is where I actually met Sasha, where then the connection with Angie and Sasha happened for the panel, was one of the We Lead events. So something in a similar fashion, but on a much smaller scale. And so being able to go and experience the EmpowerHER Summit, I was running our vendor table, but it was still within the room. So I got to experience it all and see the panel and see all the women in it. It was a very, I'm going to say the word, but very empowering experience in the sense of just feeling surrounded by support. You didn't need to know the people to know that you had a support system within the room. It truly felt like you could go up to anybody, talk to anybody, confide in anybody, share advice with anybody, receive advice from anybody. So it was just a very, very well thought out, well planned, well delivered event. And I'm an emotional person to begin with, but on the way home, I came back and I was like, I want to be able to find more of this. I want to seek this kind of environment and these kinds of events out. So it was beautiful. It truly was.
Awesome.
What was different about this event than other events that you've participated in the past that may be in a similar genre?
Yeah, so in a similar genre, it was the scale of this one. I've truly never been to or seen an event this large and so well developed for this exact cause. So it was very, very well thought out, and the room was filled of women within the community, people that you could reach out to, whether it was still going on with EmpowerHER or whether it was outside of the room in that fashion. On a scale of events that aren't even just within this genre, and we're talking about other conferences I've been to, with being in the industry that we're in, sometimes when I go to a conference, it can feel very overwhelming in the sense of not only just having conversations, but how I hold myself. And I didn't feel that at this conference or event or whatever kind of fashion we call it. It was truly, we were there to celebrate each other, feel comfortable, have a relaxing weekend, and be able to find those other women or other people within our environment that we could reach out to for whether it's business advice or personal advice. So that's what I would say is different.
Oh, I love all that feedback. That's amazing. Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, of course. You guys did a great job.
So Meagan, we talked about this a little bit in our virtual green room. So I think it's not too bold to say that we still live in a world where we have a lot of folks who look like me, who may not necessarily view this in the same light, the same realm of positivity. As I shared with you, I'm kind of a very blessed and unique individual in that, my little sister Angie and I have been together for 26 years.
Mhm.
And so, unlike many men that are in the workspace today, I've had the good fortune of having a female perspective kind of front and center. Also raised by a very strong mother, married to a very strong woman. And I say all of that because none of that is intimidating to me. None of that is frightening to me. In fact, all of that is welcoming to me. And some people may be out there today saying, what the heck does this have to do with cybersecurity? Well, our industry still stinks at being able to recruit female talent, number one. And if we go back even further than that, the world of STEM stinks as it pertains to retaining women in that area as well. So I think there's a direct relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that said, for those, if you were speaking to men that look like me, what's the message that you want them to kind of take away? Like what do you want them to consider, especially like we talked about earlier, which was, you've got a lot of girl dads out there. You got a lot of single men raising daughters. And like I said to you, I have a 13-year-old granddaughter. I have a 2-year-old grandson. So what's the messaging that you want these men that may know nothing about this, not have that perspective, et cetera, to kind of take away?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this for days. This is a great rabbit hole to go down, but I definitely think, as we always are, but now more so than ever, we're just at this pivotal evolution in the world, and women taking more, leadership roles and things like that. So I would say, to answer your question and not get on a tangent, to answer your question directly, is that my message would be that this event truly is for everybody, and it's to expand your horizons and to have that common understanding. And just like we as the planners, I always see, I'm a communication expert. I have a 20-year experience and a plethora of industries and organizations. I love seeing the way that people interact and communicate and engage and analyzing it and, thinking about, why are they with the way they are? Where did they come from? So that's just the way my brain works. So for this event, we plan it with this complete, open, transparent, honest, so many times in the workplace, there's the contention, there's miscommunication, there's misunderstandings, there's bitterness and resentment that builds because of that. And that's across genders, but this really teaches that open, transparent communication, because that is at our core and at our basis how we want to plan this event. And we want to create platforms and rooms and areas that people can have these vulnerable conversations, because when you let your walls down, you can be so much more productive, so much more successful, because you're not walking on eggshells afraid to offend somebody. So coming into this event, seeing different perspectives, understanding everybody and everybody being different and coming from different places, and nonverbal and verbal communication, all the things. Anytime people share their stories, we all get to learn. So we want to create a stage where people get to share their stories, and have an audience of 400 people to learn from and share what they learned. So I think it's really important for men to hear that message too.
I would agree. What's the advice that you have for men that are sitting, and for that matter, women? I mean, I'm sure there are maybe not as many, but I'm sure there are plenty of females out there that would turn around and say, Megan, you're kind of crazy or whatever. Like, how do you breach that bias to get somebody to at least say, you know what, I'll consider it. Maybe they don't show up, maybe they don't register, maybe they don't support, but at least you get them to the next step, which is consideration. Like, what's that pitch?
I mean, just Abby said it best. You know, she didn't have high expectations coming into it. She didn't know what to expect. And again, the atmosphere that we are determined to create, and it's, you know, it's not just the three of us planning and creating this atmosphere. It's just setting the tone and watching everybody else just jump on board with this, like, we're here to welcome you and make you feel comfortable. So many people after the summit, you know, they're nervous to go in, they're nervous to go networking, talk to people they don't know, to walk into a room with 400 people. You know, it can be, especially if you're an introvert or you're not used to communicating, networking, having to do that. But it really takes people to step out of their comfort zone, and you can take it to your level of comfort. You can sit at your table the whole time and just hear and passively absorb the information. That's fine. If this is your first event, you're going to want to come back next year and be like, okay, I'm bringing 100 more business cards. So,
Right.
but come and test the waters to your comfortability. And once you get in there, you're going to see that it's just an extremely welcoming environment where you just can really feel comfortable. Like Abby said, she nailed it on the head.
So Abby, if you think about the women that are in your graduating class, women that you've networked with already, and then, you know, also men, how would you encourage your generation to come forward and participate?
You know, when I joined the Chamber of Commerce, they said something funny to me that was just kind of like, not a lot of people from my generation get involved with planning and participating in things like this so early on. And I think that is what I would lead into. It can be scary kind of stepping into planning, participating, joining events, being on a committee, doing everything like that, especially at a young age coming out of college. You're not really sure how it's going to go. You're not really sure if that's your interest or anything like that. But I would say the grass is much greener on the other side. Being able to be involved, make those connections. Making connections is the top thing for me, I believe. I don't believe I'd be anywhere close to where I'm at without that, without just having conversations with people, broadening who you speak to, putting yourself in positions that you might not have if you didn't take that first step. So I would say that coming to an event like this to be that first step into doing something that may be out of your comfort zone, or maybe the first step to you getting more involved, would be a perfect event to do so at. Because to the same point that you said, Megan, like, there's a lot of people in that room, and there's going to be more this year, but it's not overwhelming. It is not overwhelming in like the least sense. Like, it is, everybody is just there to support. You're not going to be hassled. You're not going to be bugged. A lot of people can pick up on the social cues of, okay, let's drop this conversation. You know, it's one of those things that I think it's a perfect place to put yourself in, to meet a bunch of people and network to the level that you're comfortable with, without feeling like you're being forced to, or you're overwhelmed with bombarding or any sense like that.
And just to add to that, I mean, that is definitely, you know, a top 3 objective of ours is pure networking. It is an excuse to meet people. We want you to learn from the speakers. We want you to visit the vendor tables, but we want people to exchange names and numbers for personal and professional development. We want you to find a mentor. We want you to find a mentee. You know, one of our presentation workshop this year is actually called Shipbuilding, and it's about relationship building. So business development or otherwise, you never know the number of contacts. I mean, our committee is a perfect example of the power of networking, because they're like, oh, we gravitate towards the EmpowerHER Summit. We love what they're doing. But then they all come with their spider web and their network. They're like, let me pull from this person. Let me call that person. We just got sponsorships for our programs and our swag bags, you know, because of connections that we made, because of networking and collecting and building relationships. So very, very good point, Abby, to drive home.
Also, this event takes place within our backyard. You know, I mean, these are our counties coming together to do so. So it's not like you're going to a conference in California or Florida or something, and these are people you may never see again. these are people that every time I've gone to an event, I have run into somebody again later down the line. So it just kind of reinforces that, hey, I remember you. We met at that one event. And then the conversation just moves on from there. But I think that this event is a perfect first step to kind of getting yourself more involved, meeting new people, and just getting more comfortable with a bigger environment to do so.
Very true.
You know, one of the things I find to be interesting is that, you know, as a business, as we continue to interview and network with young professionals coming out of college, even within the last 5 years or so, one of the areas that, for whatever reason, colleges and universities don't seem to be doing a very good job of, and that is teaching, okay, what is networking? You know, it's more than just business cards. You know, what's the value? How does it help you? You know, I remember when Abby and I started working together and we had talked about the value of being able to identify those people. And it's not even about whether or not somebody's going to buy something from her. It's about what is it you can learn from them and what can they learn from you? And, you know, I would say that the power of networking in 25 years has been one of the reasons why, as a business, we've been successful, because we understood the power of that, and really being able to have a go-giver mentality and making sure that you've got a responsibility to give back and care for each other in the business community, you know. And I don't think that that's hokey. I don't think that that's sophomoric. I think it's, you know, it's one of the things that's missing, I think, in the business climate today. Abby, I'm not sure, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What is the sponsorship and the support that Reclamere is lending this year?
Yes, so we are doing the sponsorship in which we also get a vendor table.
Okay.
So we will be there representing Reclamere, and providing that. But there are multiple sponsorship levels and multiple ways that you can give back to the event, and or maybe it's even your employees. So I will pass that over to Meagan to answer in a little bit more detail, but there are multiple ways that you can support this event if that's something you'd like to do.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for your support. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We got actually really good responses from our vendors, like people commenting on how great our vendors were last year. So that's something that we took to heart, and we're like, oh, okay, how do we get more of these like high quality vendors? Because they are, you know, there to make it happen. But yes, right now we are focusing on our sponsorship levels at 5,000. That's our main one. We have sold out of our lowest sponsorships, and we go up to 25,000 for a naming sponsor. So one of these years it's going to happen. But we are looking for the right organization that align with our goals and really want to make an impact in the world as we continue to grow in our national reach. I think that that's going to be really cool. But we love doing custom packages, to be completely honest. So if you go to our website, which is www.theempowerhersummit.com, you can see the sponsorship levels that we have. But if there's something that somebody wants to do, like, hey, I really want this recognition, I want that recognition. I've been a marketer and an advertiser, again, for 20 years. So I've been on every side of the table, you know, collecting sponsorships, being the sponsor for events, having vendor tables. So I'm like, I want to give our sponsors the best value possible. I am not about just slapping a logo on something and saying, thanks for your $5,000. We'll put your logo on a t-shirt. I want you to be there. I want you to get in front of people. I want you to be handing out your pamphlets, your business cards. I want you on our website, our social media, on the presentation behind the speakers. Yeah, as the marketing director, I have a lot of oversight on giving our sponsors a really great value in this audience. And not only because they want to support the organization, but because they want to grow their business too. So we see all the facets of that. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about that, because we definitely need to get a couple more in before the summit happens in a few weeks here.
So Meagan, as we get ready to wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share, either about involvement or sponsorship or messaging, or really, you know, what's the takeaway that you really want people to not only hear, but then action and do something with?
I would say just look into it. Follow us on social media. Go check out our website and engage. We have a lot of valuable information out there. So if this is the first time you're hearing about it, go check it out and see what we're up to. I think that you'll really get a sense of what we're trying to accomplish just by seeing what we have posted out there already. Listening to some of the podcasts like this one, we've done several others and a few more coming up too. So follow along with our journey. And if it resonates with you, reach out and see how you can get involved. We have so many levels of involvement, from attending to sponsorships to coming to the VIP networking event the night before, that where you get one-on-one intimate environment with all of the speakers and the sponsors that are going to be there. So a lot of really cool opportunities and helping us grow. All of the vendors that we have coming on now, we're growing. So come on now on the ground level so you can grow with us, and we'll help each other out. So that's been really fun too, to make those partnerships and see, have a lot of hope for the future.
Cool. Abby, any last minute words of encouragement for people to come out to the event?
Yeah, I would say just come out to the event, the EmpowerHER Summit. I'm being serious. I actually am being so serious. It's I made this joke when we met up. Maybe it was like a month or so ago, Megan. But when I was headed back from this event, we live about 2 hours from Seven Springs. The whole way back on my drive, I was listening to all types of empowering music from some of my favorite artists. If you know, you know, but I Am Woman on repeat the whole way home. So it's one of those things that I came back for, hoping to find ways to replicate that feeling. Yes. So I truly think that if that's something that you're looking for, and that's something you're trying to take a step into, the EmpowerHER Summit is a wonderful place to start off with. And you can invite your friends. How fun's that? Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I wasn't at the event, although I had a number of conversations with Angie about it. And I could tell from social media the meaningfulness and the thoughtfulness of what went into the program itself. And I can tell you again, having been with my little sister for 26 years, that if you happen to be a guy that looks like me and you're on the fence, at the very least, go to the website and read more and become active and understand. The reality is that, men and women are in the workplace together. We form teams, we manage together, we succeed together, etc. And we have the ability, if we so choose, to overcome a lot more boundaries and challenges with that team than simply by ourselves. And I think that in the world in which we live today, really being able to put yourself out there and listen to another perspective. You may not necessarily agree, and that's completely and totally okay. But not to pay attention, at least listen and be aware, I think you're kind of like a caveman. You got to kind of wake up to what's going on around you. So, Megan, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for your continued friendship with Angie as well, and Abby. We're going to drop off into the green room, so don't click off yet. And hopefully technology is going to work this time.